America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, in the end, it wasn't real. DOGE. It was all just theater. It was all just a big fraud. It was all just make-believe. It was never real. And maybe that's why it caused such a splash, DOGE did. Because we as a people seem to want to be entertained. We seem to want to be distracted. We don't want to have to deal with real serious stuff. We don't want to have to make serious decisions. We don't want to have to really think about things like democracy and the rule of law and a debt that is bankrupting future generations in this country. We would much rather not think about things like that, which is probably why Trump has been such a success politically in this country these past 10 years. He's an utter fraud. He's entertainment. Games. Americans want to be distracted. Way too many of us. We just want to go onto our phones, man. We want to go onto our phones. We want to be entertained. We want to laugh at shit. We don't want to have to deal with shit. And when Elon, right, stood in front of us, when Trump got sworn in and DOGE was announced, and he was going to take a chainsaw to the federal government. Remember that? $2 trillion in spending cuts. Promised savings like we'd never seen before. And there was Elon, right, with his glasses and his chainsaw. He was going to take a chainsaw to the federal government, to our budget. And Americans laughed. And plenty of Americans probably whooped and hollered. Because again, Americans want to be entertained. People want to be entertained. Breads and circuses, man. Maybe that's how this empire ends, right? As foretold by so many people. Breads and circuses. America will end and we'll just all be laying around in our easy chairs with pizza and our smartphones on and the best technology in the world, just being entertained as our democracy and the rule of law just kind of slithers away. DOGE disbanded. Did you hear about this over the weekend, Keith? You got that headline? DOGE is no more. DOGE doesn't exist. 8 months left in its charter. If you call and try to get somebody at DOGE and talk to somebody at DOGE, you get a message. DOGE is no longer. DOGE doesn't exist. This creation of Elon Musk and Donald Trump's and so many others to radically and dramatically cut spending, thanks, Keith, bring us untold trillions in savings. It's no more. Elon left months ago. DOGE has really been out of the news for a few months. Turns out not even around anymore. Now, it does turn out that plenty of people who worked in DOGE, they've been tossed into other government agencies. But this Department of Government Efficiency, whatever DOGE was, it's no more. And it never really was anything to begin with. And again, I just keep coming back. Almost everything I talk about every day on this show, really, I'm talking about us. It has to do with us. DOGE was a fucking fraud and a grift from the beginning. It was theater from the beginning. When Elon Musk with that chainsaw stood in front of you and said, $2 trillion in government savings, he was lying to you. He was playing a fucking game. But you were too busy, America, to care. See, what interests me is what everything we talk about every day. It doesn't interest me in what it says about Trump or Elon Musk or anybody else. What interests me is what everything we talk about every day says about us. Says about us as a people. Because it's us that have gotten this country where it is right now. And it's us, it's the people that are going to decide whether this thing stays together or not. And I can tell you right now that the reason things are a fucking mess right now is because the American people are just too darn busy to care about stuff. Too darn distracted to care about stuff. We'd much rather play games and be entertained than really care about stuff and deal with stuff. And we bitch and moan about our government till the cows come home. We bitch and moan about our politicians all day long. It's about time we bitched and moaned about us, the American people. Look, this whole DOGE thing again, just now it's gone, and it didn't do anything, right? Was going to cut government spending like we've never seen, the promised savings like we've never seen, going to bring down the debt and the deficit like we've never seen. None of that happened. None of that happened. DOGE ended up costing U.S. taxpayers money. You can't believe anything DOGE puts out. The best independent reporting on the amount of spending cuts after 9-10 months that DOGE brought, maybe $1.5 billion in spending cuts, nowhere near the 2 trillion or the 1 trillion in spending cuts. I mean, that number kept coming down to the point where, again, it's ridiculous, to the point where, again, by the best reporting, by the best independent reporting, DOGE ended up costing us money. They can maybe claim $1.5 billion in spending cuts, but the best estimate is that DOGE over these last 8 to 10 months incurred about $135 billion in costs to the American people, ended up costing us some 130 some billion dollars in loss of worker productivity, in the repeated firing and rehiring of people, government employees that went on constantly these past 8 to 10 months. So on the spending ledger, this thing called DOGE ended up costing the American taxpayer money. I don't even need to get into the debt and the deficit, because the debt and the deficit, man, just kept climbing at a faster pace since the inception of DOGE. So forget about that. Forget about waste, fraud, and abuse, cutting government spending, savings, all of that. None of that ever happened. And it was all, again, it was all bullshit from the beginning. But what does it say about us that the American people so eagerly buy and want Bullshit. Feed me bullshit. Entertain me, Elon. Pull that chainsaw out again, Elon. Entertain me, Donald Trump. Make me laugh again, Donald Trump. Tell me another lie, Donald Trump. It was all bullshit from the beginning. It was all theater. It was never going to do anything about government spending from the beginning. There isn't enough, and right, and I'm not the only one. When DOGE launched after Trump was sworn in, myself and so many others said, "This is all bullshit. You can't cut debt or cut the deficit going after fraud, waste, and abuse. There's not enough fraud, waste, and abuse in the government to even begin to talk about cutting the debt and the deficit. That's not how you cut government spending." It was all misaligned and wrong from the beginning. It also circumvented Congress. It's Congress's job to do the spending cuts or the spending increases when it comes to our federal government. But like everything else, again, in America, checks and balances and separation of powers and executive overreach and democracy and the rule of law, these seem to just be things that the American people are just too darn busy to think about, too darn distracted to think about. So like everything else Trump did, he just blew through the Constitution. He and Elon Musk with DOGE, they just freaking blew through the Constitution. The vast majority of what DOGE did was unconstitutional. The government agencies they decimated, the government funding programs they crippled, the government employees that they locked out of their offices. DOGE didn't have the constitutional authority to do any of that. But we live in a country right now with so many people who don't even seem to think the Constitution matters. But at the end of this, and this is why this story of DOGE, this Monday morning, Thanksgiving week, and I wish and hope everybody just has a glorious and blessed Thanksgiving. This story of DOGE is really the story about the Trump era. It's the story about us. It's the story about Trump. It's the story of Trump. And Trump is the story of us. Donald Trump is a broken human being. He's an utterly horrible human being. He's a fraud. He's been a fraud and a grifter his whole life. But a people put him in power twice. And this fraud and grifter grabbed Elon Musk, the person, I should add, who spent the money, $270 some million to put Donald Trump in power. Elon Musk did. Trump then grabbed Musk, rewarded Musk, gave Musk this thing called DOGE, and said, "Grab your chainsaw, Elon, and go to it." So an utterly horrible human being, a fraud, grabbed another fraud, Elon Musk, and that fraud took a chainsaw to our federal government. And the American people cheered, and the American people laughed, because the American people want to be entertained. And we know now today, we've always known, but now today that DOGE, over the weekend, we found out formally no longer exists. What a thing this is, too, when you think about it. I don't mean to get distracted. We all have such short attention spans. It was only 9-10 months ago, right? Elon, DOGE, gonna reinvent government, man. 9-10 months later, it's all gone. Elon's long gone. DOGE is gone. But we move on. No matter. No harm, no foul. Well, bullshit there. Plenty of harm. Plenty of fouls. But be clear. Let's just be clear. If I'm saying this to myself right now, I'll say it. If I'm putting out factual information and the truth out there right now to a people that just doesn't want to hear the truth, too busy for the truth, too distracted for the truth, it was all a fraud from the beginning. It was all theater. It was designed, it was set up to cut government spending and lead to enormous savings in government efficiency and spending, and none of that ever happened. DOGE ended up costing the American taxpayer money. No 2 trillion, no 1 trillion in any kind of spending cuts, maybe 1.5 billion, but 130 some billion dollars. DOGE costed to the American taxpayer. DOGE ended up costing all of us money. But then on top of that, it was never real. It was never serious. It was never serious. It was never a serious attempt to do anything about this legitimate debt, which is bankrupting future generations. It was never a serious attempt to try to reinvent government and reform the way our federal government spends money. It was never any of that, man, because if it had been, they'd have dealt with Congress, they'd have formed committees, and they would have rolled up their sleeves and gotten down into how our government and the federal government spending bureaucracy works, and they would have put out real reforms. But it was never meant to be that. It was Elon and his chainsaw and destruction. And that's what's so tragic this Monday. We can laugh at DOGE and laugh at what a joke and what a farce it was. We can say it was a fraud and it was never real and it was just a bunch of stupid theater. But man, the death and destruction this theater brought these last 8 to 10 months. I mean, this is what's so horrible. Elon Musk should be put on trial. Elon Musk should be on trial right now somewhere. Where to start? 500,000 dead children around the world because of what DOGE did. Almost 1 million dead people around the world because of what DOGE did. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dead people, hungry, sick people around the world because of what DOGE did. Those hundreds of thousands of people will be millions really soon. Destroyed lives. Tens of thousands of lives in this country destroyed by Elon and his DOGE chainsaw. People locked out of offices, people losing their jobs, people stranded around the world, entire government agencies crippled, dismantled. Again, no constitutional authority to do any of this. Good, decent, hardworking people who've worked years in these government agencies wake up one morning under DOGE and find out they're locked out of their office. They've lost their job. Tens of thousands of lives destroyed because of Elon Musk and DOGE. American soft power around the world utterly crippled. America, that beacon, Elon Musk and his chainsaw, Trump, Elon Musk and Rubio and Elon's chainsaw, man, took a whack at USAID, dismantled USAID. It will take generations to repair the damage that DOGE and Elon Musk and Rubio and their chainsaw brought to USAID, American soft power, right? Our soft power, that power, that grace, that decency, the charity, the money around the world that America spent around the world to keep people healthy, to keep people fed, to keep communities built and safe. Gone in a nanosecond. So what did Elon do? What did DOGE do? Destroyed countless lives. Crippled American soft power. Killed hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Oh, and stole your personal data. Elon Musk and his DOGE team stole your personal data, and they all have your personal data now. I should also add that Elon Musk, who spent, again, about $300 million to help get Trump elected, Elon Musk and DOGE crippled the federal agencies that overlook and regulate Elon's businesses. So Elon came out really well. Elon came out financially much better. He's got your data, and his businesses now can do what they want free of any and all government regulation. Should be a crime. I've gone on too long, Keith. I apologize with DOGE. Should be a crime. People should be in jail. Elon Musk should be on trial. What the fuck was this thing? And the American people should be ashamed of themselves. You whooped and you hollered and you laughed and you turned away and you got distracted and you played your games while 400,000 or 500,000 hungry children around the world died because of what Elon Musk did, because of what Trump did. What a damning indictment this whole thing has been. Again, I bring it back to us, of us as a people. I don't have the energy to go at Trump. I barely got the energy to go after Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk is a horrible person, just an utterly horrible person who probably today is aware of all the destruction that DOGE wrought. And Elon Musk doesn't give a damn. Elon Musk has made money off of DOGE. Elon Musk has grabbed and stolen all of our personal data because of DOGE. Elon Musk's businesses are all the better now because of DOGE, because Elon's chainsaw did take at and go at any of those government agencies regulating his businesses. So Elon's fine. Elon doesn't give a fuck about a weakened, a crippled American soft power around the world. Elon probably wants that. Elon doesn't give a fuck about 500,000 dead children around the world because of what he did, Marco Rubio did, and Donald Trump did. But as long as I have a voice, I'm going to point a finger at us. I'm going to direct my wrath, my righteous anger at the American people. It's not Elon Musk's fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's not Marco Rubio's fault. It's the American people's fault. We're so fat, lazy, and stupid, man. We just want to play death and destruction. DOGE is no more. But we all laughed at his chainsaw. Wasn't real. We don't want real. You can't handle real. The American people, man, we can't handle real. It's why we're so easily led astray by bullshit, by misinformation and disinformation. We want to be lied to. It's easier. It's easier. Man, I want to be lied to. I want to believe that Elon, man, cut $2 trillion in wasteful government spending. That's a bullshit lie, but I want to believe that, man. I'm going to believe it because it's just too difficult to do the hard work of really finding out what drives government spending and what drives our debt. Man, that's hard. Waste, fraud, and abuse. That's a USAID, foreign aid. None of that stuff has anything to do with our debt and the deficit. But I don't care, man. Stop funding Israel, man, and we'll cut the debt if we just stop funding Israel. Doesn't matter if it's not true. We don't want to believe the truth. We don't want to have to do the hard work of trying to really stop the bankrupting of future generations in this country. It's like, right? We know what the drivers of our debt are. DOGE had nothing to do with it. DOGE and Elon, it's all bullshit. The drivers of our debt are our entitlement programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the rest. The American people are living longer and longer. The health care to pay for all of that, all of us living longer and longer, our retirement costs, those are the programs that are driving our debt. But our politicians don't want to deal with the entitlement programs. Too difficult because they don't believe the American people will accept any kind of serious work at entitlement reform to save those programs and stop the bankrupting of our future generations. We don't want to deal with any of that. That's too hard. Let's just go after waste, fraud, and abuse. And that's what Elon sold us. And that's what Trump sold us. And it was an easy sell because we're an unserious people. We are. We're an unserious country. We're an unserious country full of way too many unserious people. What did we find out over the weekend? What was it? Something like 2/3 of the biggest MAGA accounts on social media are all foreign. They're foreign bots, man. Foreign entities and foreign actors just setting up accounts on Twitter and elsewhere, Facebook, just feeding us bullshit. Primarily on the MAGA right. Why? Because we're so receptive to the bullshit. Right now, sadly, too many people on the MAGA right. So you've got these large accounts, these huge MAGA accounts in Russia and Thailand and Romania, just every day feeding MAGA bullshit. Because there's a receptive audience for the MAGA bullshit. And I don't mean to just pick on the MAGA right. Way too many of us on all sides want to be fed bullshit. And by the way, it's bullshit. I'm closing right here, Keith. I won't even get into Marge, but I'm closing right here with Marge. I got one take on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out late Friday and said she's resigning. Thank you, Keith. Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning from Congress this January. I don't give a damn why. Like what to know about why she's resigning? Keith, I gave you a bad one. You gave me a bad one. We gave each other a bad one. I don't give a flying fuck why Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning right now. Here's my problem. As a former member of Congress, she signed up for a 2-year term. It's wrong that she's resigning. Man, as a former House member, when you go out there and you ask people for their vote, you are committing to serving 2 years. You're committing to serving 2 years. And she's cutting it off a year early. That's bullshit. That's wrong. It doesn't matter to me if she wants to spend more time with her family or she doesn't like where the Republican Party is going. Bullshit. None of that matters. You committed to your constituents to serve for 2 years. Now her constituents are going to go without representation for months, maybe even a year. That's wrong. That's bullshit. And that hasn't been talked enough about. Everything's been, oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene split with Trump, or is she going to run for president, or she's going to be the next MAGA heir. I don't give a damn about any of that. She could have done all of that and been all of that, sticking to her job. It really bugs me. We've had 2 other Republicans earlier this year just say, I'm going to resign. You can't just resign. You signed up for a 2-year term. You stood in front of the voters 2 years ago, a year ago, and you said, vote for me. I'm Marjorie Taylor Greene. You vote for me, and I'm going to represent you for the next 2 years. You signed up for a 2-year tour of duty. This bugs me, and it bugs me because it's personal, because I'm a former House member. It means a lot to me. They don't work for you, your constituents. You work for them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you agreed to work for them for 2 years. Now her district will be without representation. This is what's wrong. And way too many members of the House are doing this, and it's wrong. I don't give a damn about the political ramifications. It's wrong and it's unserious. And by the way, last point I make, Keith, and then I'm done. It's all about her. Marjorie's making this all about her. Shouldn't be about her. I think her move is really self-interested, selfish. But she's making it all about her. I'm not happy with where the Republican Party's going. I'm not happy with Donald Trump. I'm not happy with how I'm being treated. I'm worried about threats I'm getting. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I've been a never Trumper for 7 years. When you're a public never Trumper, I put up with death threats weekly for 7 years. Don't give me that shit. It's all about her. Not the institution. Not that she's a representative. It's about the 700,000 to 800,000 people in Northwest Georgia that she represents. That's what this should be about. But not a surprise that we have way too many members of Congress like Marjorie who make it all about them and think it's all about them because they reflect us. Our House members, our representatives reflect us. And there are way too many Americans, right, who just think the world revolves around us. Don't got time to think about DOGE, 500,000 dead kids. I got to worry about what I'm having for dinner tonight. It's all about me. I don't care that Trump's lawless. I don't care that Trump is attacking our democracy. I don't care that he's corrupt, man. I want to just be better off financially. It's all about me. Marjorie just reflects that. I'm done, Keith. Man, Monday rant. Sorry about that. Hey, Substack, if you want to subscribe to my Substack, that would be great. Please do. Keep my righteously angry voice out there. Social Contract with joewalsh.substack.com. Check it out. Don't subscribe if you don't want. Do subscribe if you want. By the way, shoot me an email about anything that's on your mind. The Social Contract with joewalsh@gmail.com. All one word. I had more. We'll talk again tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been